Yes, people. So today we're going to go through yesterday's game and then look at the squad entirely and discuss what we need basically for the last kind of 2 weeks of the window. I appreciate as well sometimes that people say this is a little small. What I will do when I'm speaking about a player, I'll shake them. I'll shake them around so you can see what I'm talking about and the numbers as well. So yeah, but this is how we started yesterday. It was a 4-3-3. And key points from the game, stuff that stood out to me, stuff that I really like, stuff that I think we need to do initially. And this has kind of been a theme for me in all these friendlies so far, is the midfield. We'll talk about the midfield. I've seriously enjoyed. I think that first half midfield performance from a kind of structural perspective was outstanding. In terms of, and this is very basic but very true, doing your job. A midfield of Longstaff, Stack, and Ampadu to me displayed so much production. That is the key word I'm kind of using for this. A lot of the team actually, but particularly that is set by the midfield. There is so much production in there, and what I mean by that is, one, they're all doing things. I think Ampadu, although basic in possession, defensively in terms of sweeping up, reading the game, tracking men, making recovery runs, was outstanding. I don't want to do this so early, but I don't understand the Ampadu's playing because he's captain. I don't like that being the first thing. Ampadu's playing because he's an excellent footballer and he brings so much to this team. And he's captain. But that they have to go hand in hand for me. I want to know. So for me, that's what he brings. Play him because of what he brings. Cooper's the captain, didn't always play. Ampadu is a quality performer. And when you pair him with a Stack, for example, and a Longstaff, the connection they have and the kind of the understanding of what the role requires is something that impressed me from a certain perspective. There's another perspective it didn't, and I'll get into that. But Stack as well. Now, again, go back to the original thing I spoke about Stack, and one thing I said was he's not a powerful driver with the ball. He's not a powerful kind of runner. He will run everywhere. He will be all over. He will do it. If there's a space and he's confident he can be effective in that space and he doesn't think it's reckless, he'll do it. He's an excellent decision maker. He reads the game extremely well. And he moves around the pitch so well because he's smart and he knows exactly where he needs to be, basically, most of the time. And that showed yesterday with Anton Stack. It's a very industrial performance from a midfielder, but what he sprinkled in there was times where he chose to attack, where he burst into attacking spaces. Particularly, one thing I did find when Stack did break, there's a few times he broke into these high areas here and made that run. And we rarely see that from our midfielders. But one thing Stack's good at is getting back into it. He won't get back instantly, and again, that's why players like Longstaff and Ampadu are so kind of good in that sense, because they know initially if Stack's gone up high, they know, right, we probably need to be a little more aggressive to win that ball back. So they go a little higher. There was times yesterday where we did lose it, and instantly Longstaff is there. Assume this guy's there. We'll get a yellow. Assume this guy's their guy. Longstaff was on him. And that was it. There was always an answer. The ball went in behind to another player. Ampadu was kind of always there, reading the situation, right? He's the balance. Ampadu's the anchor. He's always looking. So he read that side really well. And that's what I liked about our midfield. There was all in the first half. There was always an answer for that side of the game. And that's something that I just sat down. I just felt relaxed. Individually, I know people talk about Longstaff. He's not sharp to me in terms of match sharp because he's not played games last year, hardly. You can tell Ampadu and Stack have. But Longstaff's calm and collected to me. He strolls around the pitch. He reads the game so well. He goes under raid, and it always will all season. There's 1 or 2 times he got caught on the ball. Again, that's completely match sharpness. There was times where he didn't look match sharp. But he still looks like a class act. I really like them 3 as a 3 for all that they bring. Now, we'll talk about the offensive side of it really quick before I go to some other players. What this midfield doesn't necessarily allow is kind of, it's creativity, but it's not creativity in a productive way. Their role allows these players to be creative, because what they allow in essence is, with them winning the ball and them being so solid, it kind of allows the game to drift wider. It allows wingers to get in a position to be on the ball. It's very good to have a midfield that is very solid, and when they win the ball back, for example, Anton Stack, he'll look out wide quickly, which he did 2 or 3 times. So it brings our wingers into the game. Same for Longstaff. He'll always look for that pass if it's there, and he'll do it. When you're winning the ball back, when you're winning that second and third ball really quickly, it allows your wingers to be in the game more. It's kind of being creative in a strange defensive way, by winning the ball back high up, by making a quick decision when you do win the ball. So the wingers will always be in the game because the midfield will find them. But there's not a creative player in there. If we are playing with a midfield 3, and I've said this all season, although Stack, like I said, he can go forward and he will go forward, it's not a creative player. It's a different player to an El Canoes, for example. So we lack that hugely. And even in the first half, and this is an overall theme that I saw with the game, we were very, very productive in a certain sense. Like I said, being aggressive, winning the ball back, always having an answer in midfield, not getting run through. We're productive, and we got the ball in good areas. Not when Aaron had a lot of the ball. Mech had a lot of, well, didn't have a lot of the ball, but when Mech had the ball, it looked dangerous. Woodmanson got in some decent attacking areas. But there was a lack of conviction, I think, through creativity. I think that's what it lacks. It lacks that killing edge from transitioning into midfield to the attack. To me, it lacks that. Is it a spark? What do you want to call it? It lacks it. It's not there in midfield. Whether that's an option we need to bring in, or whether that's a structural shape where we do go back to a 2 and we have a 10 who is creative but also decent defensively, so he can create a 3 at times if needed and drift into these spaces higher, then maybe. That's why El Canoes is a player who can probably play both of them roles. Probably works really well for this team. But that means obviously you have to drop one of these 3 guys. I think based on current performance, a lot of people would say Longstaff. Based on the 3, at this point, based on match sharpness, which he's not have, although I thought he looked smooth in this game, I just feel safe with these guys in midfield. Seriously safe. The other 2 were really good. The balance is important. It really is important. And then Mecha. I want to speak about Lucas Mecha because I just think he's a class act. When he comments from the video I made was underwhelming, Some of them, not all of them, obviously. This is why I always scream about profiles. And Mecha is an out-and-out kind of prof. That makes sense. He's a profile signing. Works so well with what we need and what we don't have. His ability to, first time, the second that ball's pinged into him, and this could be a long ball from a Rodon or a fullback, anyone, a deep ball from Ampadu. When that ball's into him, he's sticking it. And what he'll do when he gets that ball, whether that's in these middle areas here, whether that's out here, whether that's anywhere, it sticks really well most of the time. No one's perfect, obviously. What I love about him is his ability to use what he's got, and again, the word productive, be productive with it. He will occupy centre-backs constantly. There's not a minute in a game when we're in possession or about to get possession where he's not occupying a defender. That is so key, because not only does that mean you can hold it up to him, you can play a ball into him, and then you've got the midfielders running in, for example. You might have these two guys running in. Yeah. Goodmanson comes up. Just having a striker, excuse me, my voice is in the bin. Having a striker who can just hold this here, just for 1 or 2 seconds, hold it off, wait for the midfield, find a pass, and then suddenly we're looking for overloads. Other side to Longstaff, same thing. Looking for overloads out wide. Just having a guy in here, in Mecha, who can seriously just hold it. 1 touch hold, quick look, give it. But then make a run himself, be effective, keep occupying this centre back, create space maybe in here for the run of a winger or a fullback maybe. Having a player that is such a threat to defenders that they know they have to mark him because he will be involved in the game and they will look for him at any part of the pitch. What I love about Perot is in the final third he can do all this stuff, but when we do it with Mecha, a lot of it comes from deep. It comes from deep, which to me, the defender then is always on guard. It can come to him at any time. But I've got to be ready. I've got to mark him. I've got to get onto him. He's such a dangerous player in that sense. He isn't clinical. He won't score loads of goals this season, in my opinion. One thing he will do, it'll be a massive effect for the team. Because he's a type of profile that not only we need, but the Premier League works for the Premier League. He will have a big role this year. It might not be a big role in terms of minutes. He might not play loads. If we bring in a striker, which I think we will, and the manager's stated he wants and needs, then Metro obviously won't be starter. But his role that he plays will be big. It won't just be a fun role. Come on and just do your thing. Come on and have a bit of just fill in there. It'll be come on and do this, do that. Running the channels as well. He can hold it up. He can run channels. Occupying spaces, occupying defenders, running these channels, creating space, being a nuisance, winning fouls. It's underrated. What we saw within the second half, when we had the ball really deep, we really struggled for an outlet. And again, Perot can give you the outlet if you're higher up, but he's not a target man. He's not going to pluck the ball out from his chest, from a drilled ball into it, like Mecha does. His first touch ain't going to be around the corner. Perot's better when it's closer. And he's fine with a little space. Mecha don't need space. They'll do it anyway. Different players in that sense. Such an effective player is Lucas Mecha. Such an effective player. I want to know him. That's kind of the main things from the first half, to be fair. I thought Darlow looked decent, made some good saves. Strike and Rodon, relatively solid, as you'd expect. Schmidt did struggle with the tempo, I'll be honest. He's not played a lot of football. But again, I just think he struggled with the overall tempo and pressure on the game, I'll be honest. I've kind of been there every now and again. And he looked like what I've looked like before. So I think he massively struggled. I think it'd be good for him to go play somewhere else. Goodmanson, again, we saw the attacking side of it. We've not got the best out of him yet. There's still a way we can make him more effective, and this will come in weeks and weeks. It takes games, it takes time to really understand the full-back role and get that balance right. But yeah, that's probably about it. I thought Aronson was very productive again. I thought he did decent. Nonto as well. But what I will say, and this will continue into the second half team, there's a lack of killer instinct. There's a lack of directness. There's a lack of penetration. A big lack of it. And we need to address that. And we'll go into the second half team now. I know this isn't perfect, but we changed a lot of team in the second half, didn't we? We kept making subs. So I want to talk about just some key players that were in the second half. And what that highlighted. So what we struggled with in the second half was, I think, when we changed it around, we struggled to create combinations, to retain the ball very well. And we didn't have an outlet when we were under pressure from Villarreal, who are a very good team, by the way. And we didn't have an outlet. We struggled massively with that. And again, that's for me where Metch comes into it. He's such a key part of this team. It's very basic and simple, but having someone you can hit with long balls when you're under pressure deep, you can't always play out. Sometimes you need that ball in. And we don't have that with Pura from deep. From higher up we do, but from deep we don't. And that told. I also didn't think this midfield three did particularly well, I'll be honest. Stack, Ampadu, and Gruev. Obviously, Stack had already played 45 minutes, so did Ampadu. Gruev comes in, and not like the individual did bad. I just didn't think it was as productive as the first half team. But this is it, right? This is part of the new team. This is kind of what we're looking for now. We're looking for the gaps. We're looking what we can fill. And it's clear what we need to fill. Let's get into the team real quick. And what I will say before I do that, when obviously Stack came off, we brought Tanaka in. I felt we got on the ball. It took a little bit of time, but we got on the ball a bit more. We started creating combinations. The tempo just up to a Tanaka in there. Again, showing the importance of having different options, different types of players who can change games slightly. I also thought when Ramazani came on, although it was quite solo, the stuff he did, when he did get the ball, he looked very dangerous and direct. So that helped massively. So this is where we're at, people, with the team. Again, apologise if it's small. There's nothing I can do about that. I'll say the name. Don't worry. This is where we're at. This is the team. Now, what we can do straight away, let's take out players that are going to go out on loan. They're not going to feature. Obviously, I've not put Matteo in here, Gelhardt, Bamford there because the manager's already said they will not feature. Crew, probably not feature. Chambers will not feature. Gray will not feature. I think that's fair to say. We'll take Carnes out as well, even though he's an option. Now, for the first game, this is probably how it will look. Dalla will be in net. Obviously, for the first game against Everton, for now, I don't know, but he won't play, will he? He'll be on the bench. He's currently injured. Boga will be out, which is devastating. Be all red cards, so Strout will start. James will be back, not sure. My point being, where do we lack? For me, and it's clear to see on here, the graphic instantly, striker position. Massively. We have a guy who can score goals in Peru. We have a guy who's a silky performer in Peru. We have a guy who seriously suits the system in terms of what we need in the Premier League and what he can bring to the team can be really important. A runner, a guy who can hold the ball up, a presence, a physical presence in Metro. Now, we need another one. We need a starter. We need the man. We need someone who can score goals. There's so much production in this team that I like. There isn't a clinical edge. There's not a massive creative threat. That's what the game has showed me so far pre-season. Every game I've watched, I think in a lot of areas we've looked very good. But when we get to the final third, looking or getting into it, we look flat. There's not a lot of options. There's not a lot of creative movement. There's not a lot of big moments. And we're in the Premier League. We need to score goals. We need to score goals. So for me, that means we need a striker who can score goals, but also be an effective player around the pitch at a top level. We need that. And then we've got Perot who can score goals, and we've got Metro who can do the other stuff as well. Good balance. At the moment, we don't have the balance, in my opinion. It's key. We need to get a goal scorer. The man just said this as well. He wants to improve in all attacking areas, which makes me think as well, we might get a 10. Whether that's a 10/8 or El Canus who can play both roles really well, or whether that's an out 10 and we go back to a 4-2-3-1, I don't know. Regardless, we need a 10 profile who could potentially play midfield. 100%. We need a creative player in the middle. We lack it massively. Again, we have a lot of good production, but we don't have creative edge. We need a 10 or a creative 8, depending on what formation we play. A guy who can do both. I don't care. Bring a creative midfielder in. I don't care who it is. Well, I do, obviously. A good one. And in my opinion, we need a winger. Again, just looking at the team, I think we have, look at Dan James, who's a very direct winger. We'll get him behind, attack. Amundsen, very productive, but again, no clinical edge, no creativity. Nonto, kind of a he's probably the most creative as our wide players, to be fair. I think he's quite good at bringing players into plays, Gnonto. But will he get them huge numbers in the Premier League? I'm not convinced, although he looked outstanding pre-season. Similar for Ramazani, a 1v1 player for me. A 1v1 player who can create a moment for you, which is very good because we need that. Aronson, productive. We need runners. We need direct runners who can create but also finish. We don't shoot enough from our wide areas. That's one thing I've noticed. Ramazani shot when he came on a few times. Gnonto should do it more. Aronson doesn't shoot. James does, but you know, a lot of it is very speculative. When he's in the box, it's decent. Aronson, this preseason, hasn't got in positions to do that. We need someone who can get in positions around the edge of the box, who's dangerous, direct, and get goals and assists and be productive in our team in the final third. We don't have that, so we need a winger, a creative one, a runner. Paixão was the man. That similar profile to that. I've done a video on it. Please, people, check it out. And we need a fullback. That is blatantly obvious. Bogle out. Will miss start of the season, apparently. We need a fullback. Get a right back in. We need a starting right back. Schmidt did not look ready. We need a starting right back. And then I'm happy. So, yeah. 10, striker, winger, right back. And I'm good. But yeah, that's it, people. Let me know what you guys think. I'll see you guys in a bit. Thank you for the support. Bye-bye.